Chapter 20 of Vanaparva, the, the Lake of Death. Once, when the Pandavas were living in Dvaitavana, it was during their final stay of a few months, a Brahmin came to Yudhishthira with an appeal. He said that a deer had entered his hut and carried away the sticks used for making fire, the arani as it is called. The daily ritual was to rub these sticks together and get fire. No house should be without fire. The fire got out of the sticks had to be worshipped every day. The Brahmin was frantic with worry because of this calamity and requested the five brothers to follow the deer and rescue the sticks from the horns of the deer where they had become entangled. The Pandavas left at once and went in pursuit of the deer. They followed it very far but suddenly disappeared from their sight. They did not know what to do. Yudhishthira was unhappy because he could not please the Brahmin. Depressed in mind and fatigued by thirst and hunger, they sat down under the shade of a huge tree. They were very unhappy. Sitting under the shade of the banyan tree, they tried to find a reason for this calamity, because it was to them a calamity since they could not satisfy a Brahmin. Nakula said, "My lord, in our race we have never swerved from the path of Dharma. Why then should this have happened to us?" Yudhishthira said, "My dear child, do you not know that when calamities befall a person, they always come in numbers and never singly? One can only bear them. It is not ours to question the reason behind these happenings. They are sent to us and we have to bear them." Bhima said, "My lord, I know why this happened to us. If I had killed that sinner Dushasana when he dragged Draupadi to the court, this would not have happened. It was a sin to have let him live. That is why we are made to face this calamity." Arjuna said, "I should not have been patient on that day when Radheya insulted Draupadi. That is a sin I have committed. His words pierced me in the marrow of my bones, and yet I did not kill him. That is why this calamity has befallen us." And Sahadeva said, "If only I had killed Shakuni on the day when he played the game of dice, this would never have happened to us." Yudhishthira smiled at them all and said, "This is not the time to look back and think of the might have beens. Our immediate worry is this: how are we to quench this dreadful thirst that has been troubling us since some time? Nakula, get up on the tree and look around. See if you can find any spot of water in the neighborhood. We are all almost dying with thirst." Nakula did as he was told. He said, "I can see a lake just nearby." They were all so happy to hear it. Yudhishthira said, "My child, go at once and bring water for all of us." Nakula hurried to the lake. He reached the lake. The water looked so cool and inviting, he went near it to drink it. Suddenly he heard a voice from nowhere. It said, "You must not drink the water of this lake. Not before you have answered certain questions of mine. You can neither drink this water nor can you carry it unless you answer my questions." Nakula did not pay any heed to this voice coming from nowhere. He was very thirsty. He rushed to the brink of the lake and drank the cold water eagerly. Immediately, Nakula fell down dead. The others waited for him for a long time, but Nakula did not return. Yudhishthira sent Sahadeva to go in search of his brother. Sahadeva reached the lake. He saw the dead form of his brother on the ground. He was shocked at the sight, but his thirst was so great that he rushed towards the water as Nakula had done. The same voice was heard with the same warning, but Sahadeva was like Nakula. He disregarded the warning and drank the water and suffered the same fate as his brother. Yudhishthira next sent Arjuna and then Bhima. Not one of them came back. Yudhishthira waited for a long time and yet they did not come back. Intrigued by this and with misgivings of the mind, Yudhishthira walked towards the lake. He reached it soon. He stopped in his tracks, horrified by the sight that met his eyes. He saw all his brothers there, dead. Yudhishthira was stunned by this. He said, "How did this happen? There is no trace of fighting here. It is impossible to believe that these four could have been killed without their fighting for their lives. There must have been some treachery. What could have caused this?" Overcome by sorrow, Yudhishthira stood looking at the dead forms of his beloved brothers. His knees could not hold him up. He fell faint. He just sat down there. He had no tears to shed. The calamity was too much for ordinary tears. He held his head in his two hands and sat like a figure carved out of stone. He spoke to himself, "Now our dear cousins will be happy. Duryodhana's dream has been realized. Shakuni has achieved what he set out to do. Perhaps they have sent someone, some spies, to kill these brothers of mine without warning. How can I answer the questioning eyes of my mother and Draupadi? These four suffered all these years because of me, and now, when freedom is near at hand, these brothers of mine have been killed. How can I live any longer in this world alone without them? How is it that I have been spared and not they? Where is that quick death that overtook them? Why has it not come to me yet?" Thought chased thought in his poor, distraught mind. Yudhishthira was almost mad with grief. His roving eyes fell on the cool water, and his thirst came back. His throat was parched and dry with his unshed tears. He walked to the brink of the lake and was about to drink the water when he was arrested by the unearthly voice. He was told that he should not drink until some questions were answered. Yudhishthira paused in the act of drinking. He looked around to locate the source of the voice. The voice said, "I saw your brothers come here one by one. I told them not to drink. They would not listen to me. They drank and died. I am the Yaksha who owns this lake." Yudhishthira's voice was hoarse with unshed tears. He said, "What Yaksha are you? Are you one of the Rudras? Are you the chief among the Maruts? Who are you that could fell at one stroke these masses of strength? My brothers are invincible. No one, not even a god, can kill any one of them. But you have killed all four of them. They were not even allowed to fight for their lives. My lord, I am overcome with terror and admiration for you. I am curious to know the identity of one who could do this to my brothers. I am amazed at your power. Please reveal yourself to me. I want to see you." The Yaksha appeared in front of Yudhishthira. He was indeed a gruesome spectacle. Yudhishthira saluted the Yaksha for his power and said, "I am honored by your appearance. It is indeed gracious on your part to have granted me my request. I feel very grateful to you." The Yaksha said, "Your brothers would not listen to me. I am telling you also. This lake belongs to me. You are not allowed to drink this water unless you answer certain questions of mine." Yudhishthira said, "My lord, I will not insult you by disregarding your words. You say that this lake belongs to you. In that case, I have no right, absolutely no right, to touch it unless you permit me to do so. I will agree to your conditions. You can ask me any questions. I will try to find answers for them. I will try, to the best of my ability, to please you with my answers." Tomorrow, chapter 21, Yaksha Prashne. Iti samaptah. Krishnarpanamastu. Chapter 21, Yaksha Prashne. The Yaksha said, "Your brother Arjuna tried to fight for his life. He threatened to kill me with his arrows. He invoked all the divine astras, which he had at his command, and aimed them at me. But he could do nothing, not to me. I asked him just to answer my questions. He refused, and he drank the water and died. I am pleased with your humility. I will ask you to answer several questions on ethics. So be it, said Yudhishthira. Then began the questions and answers. What makes the sun rise? Brahma makes the sun rise. Whom has he for companion? His companion is kept by the gods. Who is the cause for the setting of the sun? Dharma causes him to set. In whom is the sun established? The sun is established in truth. What makes one learned? The study of the Shrutis make one learned. What makes one learned? The study of the Shrutis make one learned. How is man to attain what is great? Ascetic austerities help a man to achieve the great. How is it possible for a man always to have a second companion? Steady intelligence serves man as a helpful companion, always. This intelligence you speak of, how is it to be acquired? Serving the old makes one rich in wisdom. I repeat, steady intelligence serves the man as a helpful companion always. This intelligence you speak of, how is it to be acquired? Serving the old makes one rich in wisdom. How are Brahmins ranked with divine beings? Why? They are considered divine because they study the Vedas. Why is it they practice which makes them pious? Their asceticism makes them behave as they do, and so they are pious. The Brahmins are ranked with divine beings. How are they then different from divine beings? Brahmins are mortal and divine beings are not. It is this liability to die that makes them not quite divine. What of Kshatriyas? Wherein lies their divinity? It lies in arrows and weapons. What is their practice which makes them pious? Kshatriyas perform sacrifices, and that makes them pious. Liability to death makes Brahmins less divine. What of Kshatriyas? In their case, it is liability to fear. Tell me about sacrifices. What is meant by the Sama in a sacrifice and Yajus? There is something which is the refuge of sacrifice. What is it? What is essential for sacrifice? Life is the Sama and mind is the Yajus. Rik is the refuge of sacrifice, and it is Rik which is essential for sacrifice. There is found a person who enjoys all the objects of the senses. He is intelligent. The world holds him in esteem and he is quite popular. And yet, though this man breathes, it is said that he does not live. Why? A man, though he breathes, is considered to be not alive if he does not offer anything to the gods, guests, servants, and the Pitras. I repeat, a man, though he breathes, is considered to be not alive if he does not offer anything to the gods, guests, servants, and Pitras. What is weightier than the earth itself? The mother has more weight than the earth. I repeat, the mother has more weight than the earth. What is higher than the heavens? The Father. I repeat, the Father is higher than the heavens. What is fleeter than the wind? The mind is fleeter than the wind. What is more numerous than grass? The thoughts that arise in the mind of a man are more numerous. What is the highest refuge of virtue? Liberty is the highest refuge of virtue. Of fame, gift is the highest refuge of fame. Of heaven, Truth is the highest refuge of heaven. Of happiness, good behavior is the highest refuge of happiness. What is the soul of man? His son. Who is the friend granted by gods to man? The wife is the friend bestowed on man by the gods. I repeat, the wife is the friend bestowed on man by the gods. His chief support, the clouds. His chief refuge, gift. The best of all things that are praised. What is it? The most praiseworthy thing is skill. The most valuable of all possessions, knowledge. I repeat, what is the most valuable of all possessions? Knowledge. The best of all gains, health. I repeat, health is the best of all gains. The best of all kinds of happiness, contentment. I repeat, contentment is the best of all kinds of happiness. What is the highest duty in the world? To abstain from injury is the highest of all duties. What is it? Controlling which will lead to no regret? The mind, if controlled, will never lead to regret. I repeat, the mind, if controlled, will never lead to regret. What is that which, when renounced, makes one agreeable? Pride, when renounced, makes one agreeable. Renouncing what does one become wealthy? Desire, when renounced, makes one wealthy. I repeat, desire, when renounced, makes one wealthy. What is it? When renounced, leads to no regret. Wrath, when renounced, leads to no regret. Renouncing what does make man happy? Avarice, when renounced, makes a man happy. What is the way? By whom is it constituted? Those that are good constitute the way. I repeat, those that are good constitute the way. What is the sign of asceticism? Staying in one's own religion is asceticism. True restraint, the true restraint of the mind is true restraint. What is the essential feature of forgiveness? Forgiveness consists in enduring enmity. Forgiveness consists in enduring enmity. What is shame? Shame is withdrawing from all unworthy acts. What is said to be knowledge? True knowledge is the knowledge of divinity. True knowledge is the knowledge of divinity. What is tranquility? True tranquility is that of the heart. What is mercy? Mercy means wishing happiness for all. Mercy means wishing happiness for all. Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. What is simplicity? Simplicity is equanimity of the heart. Can you tell me what enemy is invincible? Anger. What disease is incurable? Covetousness is an incurable disease. Which man is considered honest? He who desires the good of all creatures is honest. Which man is dishonest? One who is not merciful is dishonest. What is ignorance? True ignorance is not knowing one's duties. And pride? Pride is a consciousness of one's being, himself an actor or sufferer in life. What is idleness? Not discharging one's duty is idleness. I repeat, not discharging one's duties is idleness. Grief. What is grief? Ignorance is grief. What is patience? Patience is subjugating the senses. What is real ablution? A true bath consists in washing the mind clean of all impurities. A true bath consists in washing the mind clean of all impurities. What is charity? Charity consists in protecting all creatures. What is wickedness? Wickedness is speaking ill of others. By what does one become a Brahmin? Is it behavior or birth or study or learning? Neither birth nor study nor even learning makes a Brahmin. It is behavior that makes a Brahmin. If his behavior is faultless, the man is faultless too. Bad conduct damns a man forever. Study of the Vedas is not enough if a man does not conduct himself properly. What is the reward for one who always speaks agreeable words? Why? He becomes agreeable to all. When he acts with judgment, he gets whatever he seeks. When he has many friends, he lives happily. If he is devoted to virtue, he obtains a happy state in the next world. What is the most wonderful thing in this world? What is the most wonderful thing in this world? Day after day, there enter into the temple of death countless lives. Looking on this spectacle, the rest of them, those who remain, believe themselves to be permanent, immortal. Can anything be more wonderful than this? In fact, this is the best question. What is the most wonderful thing in this world? Day after day, there enters into the temple of death countless lives. Looking on this spectacle, the rest of them, those who remain, believe themselves to be permanent, immortal. Can anything be more wonderful than this? What is the path? Arguments lead to no certain conclusions. The Shrutis are all different, one from the other. There is not even one Rishi whose opinion can be accepted as infallible. The truth about religion and duty is hidden in the caves. Therefore, that alone is the path along which the great have trod. What is the news? The world full of ignorance is like a pan. The sun is fire. The days and nights are the fuel. The months and the seasons constitute the wooden handle. Time is the cook that is cooking all creatures in that pan. That is the news. Who is truly a man? The report of one's good actions reaching heaven, and it is spread over the earth. As long as that part lasts, so long is that person called a man. Which is the man who is considered to possess every kind of wealth? The man to whom the agreeable and the disagreeable, weal and woe, the past and the future are the same, is considered to possess every kind of wealth. The Yaksha said, I am immensely pleased with your answers. You are the wisest and the most righteous person in this world. To show my pleasure, I now grant you a boon. I will grant the life of one of your brothers. You are at liberty to choose. Yudhishthira said, Please, my lord, then let this dark, young, handsome brother of mine, Nakula, come back to life. The Yaksha was amazed at his choice. He said, I am surprised at you. I know that Bhima is dear to you. Arjuna is the one person on whom you are depending for your victory in the war. He has been preparing himself for it the last so many years. Why did you not choose either Bhima or Arjuna? Bhima would have killed all the sons of Dhritarashtra. Bhima, with his powerful figure and his terrible temper, is dear to you. Why did you not ask me to let him leave? Why not Arjuna? Why did your choice fall on Nakula? Yudhishthira said, I would rather give up my life than give up dharma. I want the world to know that I will never abandon dharma. My father has had two wives, Kunti Devi and Madri Devi. I want both their children to live. I am the son of Kunti and Nakula is the son of Madri. I love both my mothers equally. I cannot gladden the heart of one and hurt the other. So, Nakula, it will be if one of my brothers is to leave. The Yaksha was very pleased with the nobility of Yudhishthira. He said, You are great. I will never look upon the like of you anywhere at any time. I am very happy to grant you the lives of all your brothers. The moment he said it, all the brothers rose up as though from a deep sleep. They found that their thirst and hunger and fatigue had all vanished. Yudhishthira embraced them all again and again. Tears flowed from his eyes. He fell at the feet of the Yaksha and said, "My lord, I want to know who you are. You are not an Yaksha. No Yaksha knows all the nuances of Dharma as you do. You must be a god from above. You are someone very dear to us. Perhaps you are our father Pandu. Whoever you may be, you must reveal yourself to me. I am eager to know who you are." The Yaksha lost his gruesome form. He stood resplendent in his natural form. He smiled at Yudhishthira and said, "I am Dharma, your father. I wanted to see you and talk to you. I am very pleased with you. You will conquer the world with these brothers of yours. But what is pleasing to me is the fact that you have already conquered my kingdom, the kingdom called righteousness. Earthly conquests are but pale and insignificant beside your conquest. Yours will be the greatest name that will be remembered by people in after times. In Kali Yuga, the fourth quarter of time, if people just pronounce your name, they will become dear to me. 4 names will have this greatness: the name of King Nala of Nishada, your name, the name of Sita, the wife of Sri Rama. The fourth is the name of one who is very dear to all of you, Krishna. As for the Arani sticks stolen from the Brahmin, they were stolen by me. I wanted to get you to this lake. Now you can take them back to him. I will grant you another boon. Your exile of 12 years is over. The last and most difficult year is imminent. You are all clothed in the armor of Dharma. I assure you, because of my grace, no one will be able to recognize you at any time. You can disguise yourself and go anywhere you choose. No one will be able to find out your real identities." Yudhishthira was delirious with joy. He had met his father. He fell at his feet. He kissed them again and again. He placed his head on the 2 feet of his father and wept unrestrainedly. Then he controlled himself to an extent and said, "My lord, I do not want anything else in life. I have seen your blessed form. I have seen my father. I will receive with gratitude all the boons you are pleased to confer on me. But my lord, I want just one more boon. I want you to grant me one more boon." "Ask me," said Dharma. "I will grant you anything you want." Yudhishthira said, "My lord, please grant me victory in my fight over 6 of my deadly enemies: lust, anger, avarice, possessiveness, arrogance, and envy." I repeat, "My lord, please grant me victory in my fight over 6 of my deadly enemies: lust, anger, avarice, possessiveness, arrogance, and envy. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Moha. Please grant that my mind be always led towards truth. I want nothing else in this world. Please grant that my mind be always led towards truth. I want nothing else in this world." Dharma smiled at Yudhishthira and said, "My child, there is no need to grant you something you already have. You have conquered these enemies long ago. Go, my children, and be happy. Your sufferings will soon be over. I am on your side. Where I am, there will be victory. There victory be. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Where Krishna is there, there will I always be. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdra, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruvar Nitir Matim. Nothing can hurt you as long as you think of me. I wish you well." Their 12 years of exile had come to an end. They had 1 year left, the most difficult year, the year of hiding. They knew that Duryodhana would try his level best to discover their hiding place and send them on the exile of another 12 years. This year threatened to be more difficult than all the other 12 put together. But they did not flinch. The assurance of Lord of Dharma put new life into the hearts of the Pandavas. They began to discuss the plans for their Ajnatavasa. This is the end of Vanaparva. From tomorrow onwards, we recite Virata Parva. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.